Good afternoon, everybody. So let's start at the beginning of the 4 golden wheels practice that we did this morning, but we were cut off. So we're going to go through the whole thing, and we'll probably also finish with some meridian qigong if we have time to do that. Another thing I might mention is there is a heart math presentation PDF in your download folder that you can kind of go over. It's pretty self-explanatory. We can talk about it a little bit next week in maybe some of the afternoon sessions. But those are really good stress management protocols that you can follow that are very simple, very easy to kind of do. And throughout the day, gratitude practices, breathing from the heart, some of these things I've mentioned in class before. So let's just begin with our 4 golden wheels. So again, the 4 golden wheels are basically the thrusting channel that goes up and down here, upper dantian, middle dantian, lower dantian. So, and you want to visualize those dantians as being sort of spheres of energy. They're in those spaces, they're always moving. And their job is really to collect and refine energy. And so together with the thrusting channel and the 3 dantians, when you put your roof, the tongue to the roof of your mouth, you get that flow of energy that goes around the top and the bottom of that thrusting channel, which is called the microcosmic orbit. It connects the Ren and the Du channel in the meridian system. And that also holds an overflow of energy. So the idea is if we pour energy into these reservoirs, they overflow into the meridians, and now your organs, bone marrow, and immune system get more energized by all that. So we're working with, in this one, we're working with those reservoirs. So let's start with the shaking. So again, it's just this shaking like this. And you just want to relax as much as possible while you're doing this. And again, the protocol is to notice what's relaxed and what's not relaxed. So typically your palms and the lower part of your arms are moving around, and they should be almost maybe the more relaxed parts of your body. So you're doing a comparison internally with, okay, so do my shoulders feel like they're moving around the same way my palms are? Is my head bobbing around in that same way? Is there anything in my lower back that feels like it's stuck? And you go there with your mind awareness, and you just ask that to open up, let go, relax. And so this is a standalone process that you can do every day, just doing the shaking part. And the golden wheels, besides doing that protocol of relaxation, you're also imagining golden white light is pouring in and filling up that thrusting channel as you do the shaking process and that relaxation scan. So again, you would do this anywhere from 30 seconds to 3 minutes. We'll just do it a little bit longer here. Relax as much as you can. Feel like you're shaking all the tension out of the muscles. And then when you stop, again, you might be a little wavery. Your palms might be tingling. You might feel that tingling energy in the rest of your body if it was nice and relaxed. So you just take a few seconds to notice if you have shaken some of that tension out of the physical structure, and pay attention to where you might still feel some tension is still there. So the next time you do the shaking, you can go to that place and try to let that go. So then it's the hip movement with the arms. And again, it's this. And while you're doing the physical movement in your mind and your imagination, you're imagining that you're 6 years old, you're swinging on a swing with very long chains. So swinging forward very far away, swinging backwards very far away, and collecting up all that exciting energy because you're 6 years old, you're seeing a lot of new things that you haven't seen before, you're very excited, you're very happy, and you want to bring that feeling into the upper dantian as you deposit that energy there. And again, you're going to do this swinging for as long as you want to, because when we were kids, when we were 6 years old and we were on a swing, we just kept on that swing as long as we wanted to, and then we got off and did something else. So we're just doing it the same way here. This is another good exercise to do, say, as a standalone exercise, as it brings a lot of movement into the lungs and the organs. And then when you're done with this one, palms just come up to the front of your face, so this far away, and you just do that spiraling 6 times in each direction. And as you do that, you want to feel and imagine that out of your palms is pouring that chi energy, and everything in your head is completely healed. So you want to feel the feeling that everything is completely healed. After 6 rotations one way, then you do 6 the other direction. Again, still feeling the same feeling, everything in my head is completely healed. And when you're done with that process, the palms just face your face. One more feeling, everything in my head is completely healed. And then it's almost like you feel helium balloons are lifting your elbows up. And your palms are starting to face the floor. You're not raising your shoulders. And then with your mind, you want to imagine you're pressing something heavy downward, not using your muscles to do that. And then the arms are just coming around, the palms are just coming around in a circular shape. And the palms meet a little bit above the head. Again, you're not lifting shoulders. You want to imagine now that you're pulling and drawing and leading some of that yang heaven energy down into the middle dantian. And then with your thumbs resting on your sternum, this is kind of a gratitude mudra. So you can pause for a couple of seconds and just feel grateful for whatever you want to feel grateful for right now. And then you let your palms separate, and you're just going to follow your palms with your imagination. So here we're going into the earth, and we feel and imagine that earth energy yin is pouring up through and around us, and our palms are becoming magnetized with that energy. The palms turn, and we are bringing the yang energy down, magnetizing the palms. Now these magnetic palms go through and around the body and gently pull downward any 6-tail energy. You lead it through the yin meridians on the inside of the legs. And then when you go around the toes with your fingertips, you feel and imagine that 6-tail energy drop out of your body. You lead fresh energy up the yang meridians. So gathering yin energy, gathering the yang energy here, leading that yin and yang energy again into the middle dantian, deposit some of that there. So basically, in that movement, we did an internal cleaning process And at the end of that, we let some clean, fresh yin and yang energy to the middle dantian, which is another one of the golden wheels. With the first movement we made, we were leading it into the upper dantian golden wheel. And we can do as many of those. So the idea is when you're doing this little scanning process going down with your palms, you want to feel if there's any space in and around the body that feels either unconscious or a space that feels heavy, dense, or it's just something that doesn't feel right. And that's where a blockage is probably occurring. So you're trying to feel that you're pulling that blockage downward as you dissolve it. So let's do another one of those. The palms go down. They drift up. So the yin energy is pouring up through and around us. The yang energy is pouring down through and around us. Now our magnetic palms are again dissolving and leading any six-tail energy downward. And now letting that six-tail energy pour out the bottom of the feet into the center of the earth, lifting up some fresh yin energy, bringing down some fresh yang energy, and again letting that pour into the middle dantian, where again we take a few seconds of gratitude. So each time you do this cleaning process, you should be noticing that a space that didn't feel quite right is getting better. But the idea is if you have enough time, you continue to do this part of the practice, and it might be 6 times, 9 times, 12 times, 24 times, until you really feel, oh, I've kind of removed any blockages I can for this session. And then you would move on to the next thing. If we are close on time, then you might only want to do it 2 or 3 or 6 times, whatever. So let's just do it one more time. The palms drop down. Again, lifting yin, bringing yang downward, and then dissolving and letting pour downward any six-tail energy. Letting that again pour down out of the feet into the center of the earth, lifting up yin, bringing down yang, letting that yin and yang universal chi pour into the middle dantian golden wheel. And again, more feelings of gratitude. So then we're going to borrow some of that energy to use. And you just want to imagine that some of that energy kind of pops out and you catch it in this energy ball here. And then you bring it down to the lower dantian space. Then you step out with your left leg so you're in a little wider stance. And you're sitting down a little bit so you're kind of relaxed as if you're sitting on a stool. You're nice and relaxed. You bring that energy up and let it expand here. So now we're just kind of these big antennas. Again, your shoulders are down and relaxed. And you want to feel and imagine that the yin energy of earth is spiraling up through the legs into the torso, the yang energy of heaven is spiraling down through the fingertips, arms into the torso area, all combining. And as we do that, you also want to feel and imagine that your bones are getting longer, growing, and you want to feel that your legs and feet are sticking out the other side of the earth. The rest of your skeleton's going up into space. And as you go up into space, you're going to be passing the sun and the moon. So you want to cup your hands and hold on to the sun and the moon, and then just tilt the wrists a little bit so that the silver light of the moon and the golden light of the sun pour into the top of the thrusting channel to fill it up, pouring it into that upper dantian to fill up that upper dantian with the silver light of the moon, the golden light of the sun. Then you want to feel and imagine the silver and gold is mixing and merging together, forming this white gold. And you want to imagine some of that white gold energy is radiating out into the head and into the brain, into the glands. Now we're going to bring that sun and moon energy together and bring it down and deposit it in the thrusting channel here. And then we're going to expand ourselves into the earth to gather the earth yin energy, compress that into a little smaller ball, bring that at the bottom of the thrusting channel, and again, deposit that energy in the thrusting channel, expand out into space to gather yang, bring that, and then let that pour down again into the thrusting channel. So here you want to feel and imagine that that thrusting channel is getting thicker, brighter, denser. And that is the other third golden wheel we've been working with now. So you just gather more heaven yang, let that pour down. Expanding, gathering more heaven yin, depositing that. Do one more of those movements, expanding, gathering heaven yang. And again, you can do as many of these processes as you want to feel that that thrusting channel is full of energy now. Finishing with one gather of earth. And again, arms rotate outward. Again, we feel like we're this big antenna. The yin energy is pouring up through and around us from earth. The yang is coming down from heaven. As that rebalances our internal yin and yang energy in the body, we also feel and imagine that our bones are getting longer, growing. Our legs and feet are growing into the center of the earth and sticking out the other side. The rest of our skeleton is going up into space. And again, as we pass the sun and the moon, we're going to hold on to the sun and the moon, that celestial yin and yang. And we're going to pour the silver light of the moon into the top of our head, golden light of the sun, pouring those energies into the upper dantian, feeling and imagine the gold and silver swirling, mixing together, forming one color of white gold. Then we're going to bring that sun and moon energy again into a ball. And this time we're going to bring it down. We're not going to deposit it in the thrusting channel because we have the fourth golden wheel, which is the lower dantian. So now that we're down at the lower dantian, we step in with the left leg on our more normal horse stance. And we're going to kind of do a breathing of the universe kind of movement. So basically it's going to be an inhale is going to bring the arms out. Exhale is going to bring the arms in. And in this particular movement, what you're imagining is the sun and the moon energy is in here. And when we inhale, again, we're going to expand out into the universe as far as we can imagine, letting more energy drop into that space in between our palms as we expand and inhale. When we exhale, we want to compress that energy into a pearl of condensed energy. So on the inhale, we're expanding into the universe, our whole body's breathing. We're letting all the energy of the universe fall in between our palms. And then on the exhale, we're compressing that energy into a very powerful pearl of condensed energy. So again, you would do this any number of times that you feel is necessary to really condense a very powerful pearl of condensed energy. Most of the energy in the universe, a lot of the Taoists believe, is a violet light energy. So you can imagine that violet light is pouring into this space. And again, you're condensing the energy into the pearl. So let's just do one more expansion, letting the energy drop in between the palms, compressing the energy in a very powerful pearl. And then you want to feel and imagine that that pearl of energy now goes into the palm gates here. And then when the palms rest at the lower dantian, you want to feel and imagine that condensed pearl of energy leaves your palms and just moves into the center of the lower dantian. And as it does that, you are spiraling 6 times in each direction. You want to feel that the violet light is spiraling out of your palms, filling up the lower dantian. So the pearl of condensed energy is in the center. The violet light is filling up the space around it in the lower dantian. And again, as you keep on spiraling, that violet light gets thicker, brighter, denser. And after doing 6 spirals in one direction, Then you do the 6 spirals in the other direction, again feeling, imagining the violet light in your palms spiraling and filling up the lower dantian. That's getting thicker, brighter, denser with violet light. And the palms can just rest. And with your mind, imagination, awareness, you go into the center of the lower dantian. You're drifting through all that violet light to get to the center. When you get to the center, you start to see the pearl of condensed energy. With your imagination, you go inside the pearl, and that opens up into your own body universe. And then you just use your imagination to go into the center of a spiraling galaxy there. And that center of that spiraling galaxy is where your original energy that you were born with is. And you're looking out at the rest of that galaxy, noticing how you've added more energy to that space by doing this practice. And you just spend a few more seconds kind of enjoying that quiet, peaceful, still point of just watching all of that happen. You feel very calm, relaxed, and content. And whenever you're ready, you can just open your eyes, bring your awareness back outside again. All right, good. So let's do a little bit of the meridian qigong to just finish out the day here. I'll see everybody next Monday at 11 a.m. for class. And so meridian qigong again is just relax as usual. You try to relax the body physically first. You try to relax the mind by bringing the awareness into the body, especially this hip lower dantian space, to just pay attention to the movements we're making and maybe watch the breath do those movements. So on the inhale, the arms are drifting up. On the exhale, everything drifts downward. Again, you want to feel the sinking downward to the feet here. When you inhale, you want to feel the lifting up inside the body to the top of the head. That space should feel fairly light and open. And then on the next exhale, again, all the awareness moves downward. There's a little downward internal, external movement toward the feet. The feet feel heavy and dense here. And then on the inhale, again, we lift up. On the exhale, we pour down. So what you want to add to that is your imagination of now that we come up to the top of our head here, you want to feel and imagine that you're going out into space. And then that yang energy from heaven pours down through and around us, gently pushing any six-tail energy out the bottom of the feet here into the center of the earth. And then here, the earth yin energy pours up through and around us, gently pushing any six-tail energy out the top of our body here into space. And you continue with that process of the yin and yang pouring through, letting go of what you're ready to let go of, both physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, that doesn't serve you anymore. And you're just letting your spirit and your body figure out what that is. So your intention is, I just want to let go of whatever I'm ready to let go of right now that doesn't serve me, any six-tail energy. And then you just leave that alone, and that's your instructions to your body, mind, spirit. And then you just allow that to happen by feeling the movements going downward on the exhale, coming upward on the inhale. just going to do one more downward movement here for this. And then the palms now face upward as you lift up. And you're going to stretch gradually your fingers and toes, release gradually your fingers and toes. Let that energy pour in, go around the belt that's going through all the cells and organs. And again, you let all the sixth-scale energy pour up the bottom of the feet into the center of the earth. Don't worry about your breathing anymore, just breathe naturally. Here you're pulling the fresh energy in to go through the space you just got rid of the sixth-scale energy. Here you're letting more sixth-scale energy pour out of the body. And then again, pulling the fresh energy in. Go through all the cells and organs, cleaning them. You can almost feel like it's a water process if you want to. We're mostly made of water. So you can feel you're pulling the energy of fresh, clean water into the body. It's cleaning all the cells and organs. And then all the dirty water just pours out the bottom of your feet. You want to visualize sort of a vortex at the bottom of each foot at kidney 1 meridian. And just feel that all that dirty water pours out of your body into the center of the earth here. So we're just going to do one more of those. Stretching gradually, fingers and toes releasing. And then the third movement is having the palms come up the outside of the legs, yang meridians. You're kind of doing a little yawning stretch here. And again, you're pushing any sixth-scale energy out of the top of the body. You're letting the yang heaven pour down to do the same thing in a downward motion. Sixth-scale energy pours out into the center of the earth here. Yin energy pours up again, gently pushing out the sixth-scale energy space here. Yang heaven pours down, rinsing everything out, letting go of sixth-scale energy downward into the center of the earth here. Just do a couple more of these. So again, very relaxed, but you also feel the internal movement of all the connective tissue. But the most important thing is relax, relax, relax. Keep your mind with the process. So then we come up, and you want to imagine you're holding onto an energy ball here, left hand's on top. You're going to turn the hips left, and then let the ball rotate a half a turn. Turn the hips right, and let the ball rotate. So what you're going to notice, so at first you might be rotating yourself, the ball, but what you are going to notice after a while when you're very relaxed is the ball kind of rotates itself because of the movement of the hips. And again, you're only doing 80% of any of the stretching movements here, so if you can only go this much, you go there. And then, eventually you might be able to go a little bit further. The idea is if you're always staying with that 80% rule of not stretching any more than 80% beyond your capacity right now, then over a period of time, your body is going to become more flexible but very safe. We're just going to do one more over to the right side. Left hand's going to be on top. And then we're going to do that separation of heaven and earth move where our intention is I'm pushing away all the sixth-scale energy toward heaven and earth here, leaving more room for myself in the center. I'm letting pour now fresh energy into that center because I've opened up the space. Here, I'm expanding outward maybe like a sphere. And again, pushing any sixth-scale energy into nature that nature can use, and then letting that energy from nature pour back into me that I can. So here, you're pushing outward and upward and downward. And here, you're expanding outward more like a sphere into all of nature. And notice how you're changing which hand is on top of the ball. So at first, you might look at this left hand going up. Now you have visual memory of that as you come back in. When you do this outward movement, now you'll remember, oh, I just saw my left hand go up, so now the right hand has to be on top of the ball, and the right hand will go up. So after you do this a number of times, the muscle memory will be there, and then you just do the meditation part of pushing sixth-scale energy into nature, letting the fresh energy of nature pour back in, the energy of spring right now, and then pushing away toward heaven and earth, which you don't want, letting the fresh energy pour back in, and then again, pushing out toward nature. And then we're going to go to the 3 gathering movement, where here we expand into space to gather the heaven energy, and there's a little bend backwards to let that energy pour into the upper dantian. Let your arms slowly drift down when the fingertips hit bottom. Is when your hips go back and that leads the arms forward. Again, you feel yourself expanding into the universe to gather compassion, joy, gratitude, and you let that pour in to nourish the heart, the middle dantian, bending backwards. And then into earth to gather the earth energy. Good for the immune system, for the changing seasons. And you deposit that. So let's do one more sequence of that. So it's gathering heaven, letting that deposit and pour into the upper dantian. Gathering compassion, joy, energy, feeling those feelings as you let those feelings pour into middle dantian. And expanding into the earth to gather earth energy. Letting that pour into the lower dantian. And then we finish with just this microcosmic orbit move of imagining energy going up the back, or on the top of the head through the brain, down the front of the body, around the bottom, back up the back. So again, we may be cut off anytime, but this is pretty much the end of the movement part of this practice. So here you're imagining that energy go up the back, or on the top of the head through the brain, down the front of the body, down the bottom. We'll just do one more of those, up the back, on top of the head through the brain, down the bottom. You can finish with just your palms again, resting at that lower dantian space. So in this particular qigong, most qigongs don't have affirmations, but this one does. So basically what it is your mind telling your body, here's what I want you to do. And basically your mind is just telling your body, here's what we already did in movement, but I didn't talk about it. So basically the first thing that we say is my qi and blood are flowing smoothly. My qi and blood are flowing smoothly. Next one is I am filled with peace and joy. I am filled with peace and joy. I am free of pain and illness. I am free of pain and illness. I am blessed with good fortune. I am blessed with good fortune. And we could repeat that. You could repeat that up to 3 times, just again, pushing that message a little bit more into the consciousness, into the subconscious. And then we finish this typically with a cleansing breath. So the cleansing breath is just inhaling through the nose, a quick exhalation out with the mouth, and it's kind of like this. So it's an inhale, then another inhale, and then the last one. And then again, palms can just rest on the lower dantian. Now you can do those cleansing breaths a few times a day if you're having any lung issues. It's good because what it does is it helps to clear anything that's stuck in the lung space, especially that quick exhale will kind of lift any of the stuff that's stuck in the bottom of the lungs upward and hopefully move some of that congestion around. And typically, you know, when we're done with all these qigong practices, again, mind awareness goes into that lower dantian space. You may definitely close your eyes at that point. You could do the whole practice with your eyes closed once you know it. You could keep your eyes squinting a little bit so some of your awareness is inside and some of it's outside. You can have your eyes open completely if you want to do that. A lot of people feel that it's easier for them to focus on the meditations if they just keep their eyes closed. So again, to finish any of these practices, you can just, to help you focus your mind awareness, again, you can use that little protocol of imagining that condensed energy pearl in the center of the lower dantian, going into the center of that with your imagination and feeling that it opens up into your own body universe, and then just placing that awareness, that attention in the center of a spiraling galaxy, feeling that that's the place where your original energy, the energy you were born with, is. And then you can notice that we've added more energy to that space by doing these practices. And again, I'll mention, so sometimes you see somebody that's had a traumatic episode, emotional episode, and they look like they've aged 10 years. And the reason for that is they've gone in and really taken out a large amount of their original energy to get them through that trauma. And so they age very quickly because, again, they've taken some of that original energy. The idea of this qigong practice, all of these qigong practices, is to add more energy into that space. So when something like that comes up, our body, mind, spirit can use that newly accumulated energy instead of going after the original energy that we're born with. When we run out of that original energy, that's when we die. So the idea is if we can continually add more energy to use, we're clearing out any toxic space on a regular basis. Blockages aren't really building up over a long period of time. And we have a lot of extra energy that we can use now. And typically our health will be better and our longevity will be longer. So it looks like I do have time to say thank you for coming to practice together. But I do know, looking at the clock, that this session will end any second here. So good. So I hope you had a good practice there. Again, go to your download folder. I added a few more things in that we'll be doing next week also. And if you can, look at those heart math, look at that heart math presentation and maybe start to do some of those practices. Also, there's an autogenic.mp3 file in there. And if you download that, it takes about 18 minutes to listen to. But again, that'll be very good as a stress relief kind of scan option. Thank you for coming. And I'm really surprised. I think this is the first time we've actually, but the clock is saying that we should be off any second. So the first time we've been able to actually go through, I think, an entire